Show your face. Show your face, please. With sugar on top.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, please make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're able to be a little more explicit, a little more uncensored, and share content freely without running the risk of having our channel terminated. So, once again, make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. Now let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, shout out to Just Chris 216. He's the first guy that I know that broke the story when it comes to the whole situation, where people are saying that DNA from one of the OBlock guys have been left on the crime scene the fatal day that FBG Duck was taken away. Now you got a bunch of people that was after Just Chris, putting out their own stories about what happened and the DNA being on the floor or DNA being on the car. I don't know how credible this information is. That's why I never did my own video on it. However, I did get confirmation from a very credible source that the information about the DNA evidence being on the scene is actually true. There was DNA left on the scene, and contrary to some of the bloggers thinking that it was due to sweat or someone spitting on Duck's body after shooting him, that wasn't the case. We've been told that it must have been one of the OBlock's guys' blood from when one of them was shot, which leads us to the other topic that we're going to get into when it comes to the woman that was with FBG Duck. Now, some say she was his girlfriend, some say she was his friend, but out of respect for the both of them, because I'm unsure of who she was to Duck, I'll just refer to her as a woman on the scene, or the woman with the red hair, because I know it'll be easier for everyone to identify with. Now, that woman goes by the name of Sh0t Williams. She would testify on what went down the day her and Duck would go to the Gold Coast, the fatal day that he was shot and killed, and admit to the officers during her testimony that she was the one that shot back at the alleged suspects. Sh0t Williams would say, quote, "I picked up Duck's gun and started shooting back." And she explained that at the time of the shooting, she was sitting in the car while Duck was standing in line waiting to enter the Dolce & Gabbana store. That's when the car would pull up with one gunman jumping out and firing at FBG Duck. She says that she automatically reacted by grabbing Duck's firearm and firing back at the suspects through the car's window. She stated that she waited for the gunman to flee the scene before going to check on Duck, who was trying to hide behind her car, as she would notice that he was struck about 16 times. Jeez. Now, after everything calmed down, she would notice that she herself was struck twice in her wrist, as she had to get surgery in order to get the bullet out. Sh0t wasn't the only one hit in the exchange, because an innocent bystander was also struck during the attack. Now, thank God she thought quick on her feet and at least tried shooting back, because that seemed like it was the only thing that stopped them from continuously shooting at FBG Duck. I assume that if she didn't think quick, then it could have been a whole lot worse, despite FBG Duck still succumbing to his injuries. Now, the second topic will be about the DNA evidence that was found on the scene. It has been confirmed that there's DNA evidence belonging to one of the suspects, but they didn't specify who was the one that the DNA belonged to. What we do know is that during the exchange, one of the suspects may have been hit by returning fire, and blood DNA was spilled where it had been discovered by law enforcement. And 9 times out of 10, if they have blood DNA, then that would trace whoever it belongs to back to the scene, and they'll have to explain why they was there at whatever time everything took place. Now, I'm not going to say any names because it is an ongoing trial, but as soon as I heard that the blood DNA may have came from some of the suspects or one of the suspects, all I could think about is a certain someone who wore a cast seemingly right after Duck was killed. Now, I'm not going to say no names, and before y'all sit here and say, "Oh, Hookah, you saying too much, Hookah, you dry snitching," use your heads and realize that it's blood and DNA. Nobody got to snitch or say anything. They already know who it traces back to because it's blood DNA. So please, before y'all start with the weird comments, just think of common sense. Now, that's pretty much it. They brought up surveillance in the article, so I'm assuming that soon they'll be releasing some surveillance footage of either OBlock and when the guys were running to the cars, or when the shooting actually took place. Now, interesting enough, we did a video earlier speaking about the mistrial that the suspects' attorneys tried to push for, and like I stated earlier, it seemed like the attorneys are desperate, and I get it because it's a lot of evidence, right? But it's either that or they know that it's too much evidence and there's really nothing they could do, so they just scraping and running around like chickens with their head cut off. You know, in a Chicago Sun-Times article, one of the attorneys tried to question the city's license plates reader, as it was said that Sergeant Kevin Lyjak relied heavily on the cameras and license plate readers to determine the cars used in the shooting. Now, Robinson, aka Kenny Mack's lawyer, was the one that was trying to inquire about the license plate readers, being that both of the cars used in the crime belonged to his client Kenny Mack in Los Munna. So their attorneys got their work cut out for them because it's very hard trying to defend that. But him trying to contest the capabilities of the license plate readers and their ability to work correctly, I think is the wrong approach when it comes to this situation. You know, they got to come better than that, because at the end of the day, you got to prove more than just the license plates readers, right? Let's say, hypothetically speaking, they were faulty. The next question would be, well, okay, what was the reason you rented the car for? Then after that, they're going to say, well, okay, why did you coincidentally, right? Because everybody like that word. Why did you coincidentally bring the rental car back right after FBG Duck was shot and killed? What made you bring it back now? Then y'all gotta remember that the police aren't foolish, man. You know, they have to go through the process, so of course they just can't sit there and convict them. But they already know what they're looking for, and they already know what's about to go down. They just gotta go through the process. You know, first and foremost, they have the same exact car and the same exact location of the crime. And please, let's not forget the infamous interview that Boss Top did, where he went off saying a little too much, and that same exact car was spotted in the interview as well. You know, so clearly these guys didn't think any of this through. We know clearly it was just a crash out mission, and honestly, their attorneys are going to have to go harder than what they've been doing if they think they're going to be helping these guys out. But from what I'm seeing, all they're doing is sending these guys up the river. So let's see what comes out of this one. Like I stated before, I'm waiting for the surveillance footage. I don't know if that's going to be the icing on the cake or they saving it. They haven't brought any of the witnesses or cooperators out yet. But keep in mind that it's still early in the trial, right? They expect this trial to last for about 2 months according to the articles, so it's definitely far from over. Also, keep in mind that they still haven't cross-examined any of these guys yet or heard their sides of the stories on the stands. I know that's going to be interesting within itself, on top of the cooperators coming to the stand. Keep in mind that most of the cooperators are only called if needed. I have to emphasize if needed, because they're not always called to the stand because they simply aren't needed. They're like reinforcement in a sense, right? But anyway, as they keep updating us with everything, I'm gonna keep updating y'all. So far, we know that Cashay Williams, the girl Duck was with, shot back and possibly struck one of the suspects, forcing them to leave DNA evidence on the scene. So y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out.